The Eagles wrapped up what was a nice preseason game against the Cleveland Browns, and while we may not have come away with the win, there was a lot of insight and a lot of things shown by the players, both rookies and veterans, and guys on the roster bubble trying to make the team. But I walked away very encouraged by what I saw, and even guys that didn't do so well, it'll be a great learning experience as well as, a learning curve for others. What's up, it's your boy Syndrome coming at you with another analysis video, and I kid you not, that's my real name. So we're going to get into the Browns game, like I said, and more so than read the analysis, I'm kind of going to go away with what I came away with watching the highlights of the 40-minute game. And I was able to see a lot of things that, they weren't mentioning, but, just people that popped on tape. Some was obvious, something that they, collude with what they're saying, but let's get into it. Nick Sirianni, always fired up as usual, man. Tanner McKee, bro. Can't say enough about him. He came out looking very sharp, very crisp. He looked like the veteran over Marcus Mariota, and it was just a banner night for him. He led a couple of scoring drives and was very successful on some throws to Nada. They were just like very well timed routes. It was like 3-step drop, 5-step drop. Just ball just coming out his hands very clean and crisp, and right where the receivers needed, hitting them in stride. With Tyree Jackson, he was wide open, but he hit him in stride, so he was able to get yak yardage. That was just excellent. Tyree Cleveland, he was also running some good routes, but he didn't, he didn't catch anything other than a 4-yard ball for at one catch for 4 yards. But yeah, he was even when the guys, they let him down a little bit, having some drops, but he looks very good. It's going to be a struggle to think that we're going to have to cut him to make room for other people on the roster, because there's too many other positions. I don't know if we might be able to keep him though, because I don't know if he'll make it to the waiver wire. But you could make a case for him making the roster for that third spot. But he definitely could challenge for the back QB position going into next year, and I like his prognostication for the foreseeable future. It looks like he has a bright future coming out of Stanford at the quarterback position. Joseph Nada, yeah, he made a couple clean catches, man. He looks like he's going to battle for that 5th or 6th spot at receiver. So, yeah, he has some special teams value, but, I mean, there was one along the sidelines where he snagged the ball with those big arms and just, was able to, catch it in stride and gain a couple of yards heading upfield and cutting out of bounds. Just was very crisp, and, like, surprisingly, he didn't run out the route. He used some subtle body language, so he's been paying attention in practice and using his eyes and stealing from other receivers to get better. So it's very positive for him. Tyree Cleveland, we'll get to him a little bit later, but man, yeah, I also like him battling for that sixth receiver spot. Even if we don't, I like him and a guy that wasn't mentioned that made a really nice catch. Ball came at him hard. He aggressively caught it, rolled over, and then got up to get more yards. But Johnny King, a very nice receiver. I believe him and Tyree Cleveland are my picks for the practice squad, with Joseph Nagata making the roster, or Tyree Cleveland. I could see either Nagata or Cleveland flip-flopping between practice squad and making an active roster. So Britton Covey, he's hurt. He's out with a hamstring injury, and he's not able to prove that he's able to have some receiving chops. Because I think, we'll get into later, but special teams value, or I would say some people might have, made him irrelevant or replaceable. Marcus Mariota, man, he just didn't look good, man. He was like 9 of 18 or something like that for, 86 yards and a pick. It was just a bad overthrown ball. I mean, like, Grant Calcaterra tried to jump and at least graze it, come down with it, but it was just a few feet, like 2 feet over his head. And I went into the arms of one of the preseason leaders. He's got to be one of the preseason leader rookie DB. And, nice awareness on the play for him, but it just was sad, bro. Like, he just looks overwhelming. That shouldn't happen to a entering year 10 veteran. So I mean, he's up and down, kind of like this guy here, Trace Sermon. He fumbled, but then had a 33-yard touchdown run. But yeah, we got to believe that fumble, we're gonna that was more weighted versus the touchdown run, because yeah, we know you have some skills. Obviously, you were drafted in the 3rd round by the San Francisco 49ers, but And he looked good, actually, be at the point of contact, doing a little east and west move, a juke, and then getting north and south really quickly. But those fumbles, he's had fumbles in back-to-back games. It's tarnished what he's been able to do out there on the field. So, I mean, Eagles might say, pay lip service to having 5 starters, but we know he's on the roster bubble. Boston Scott, he's stable. Even Kenneth Gainwell, he didn't pop for the majority of the night, but he was dependable. And that's what we need, especially for a guy on the lower tier of the running back chart. All right, Zach Cunningham looked good. He, nice through with the nice run stuff, and he was very active. I mean, he just shot the gap, and it just showed that he's a pro. He's a pro's pro. He was where he needed to be, and put a stop to some of the foolishness late in, I think, the 3rd or 4th quarter. He was playing late in the game. And Miles Jack didn't play until late in the game, but those guys don't really need so much as far as they just need to to show that they can they know what to do in the system. And it's vanilla right now, but it still is a shell of a defense, but it still is a defense nonetheless. So just going out there and getting those reps and getting that chemistry next to those guys, because we don't know the combinations. Sean Desai said that he's going to wait until after the next game to decide, to solidify the combinations. But I mean, of course, I'd like sooner than later. But I feel like he knows what he's doing, and just getting the guys out there. He's for him, experience trumps all. So he's been doing a lot of rotations. Even though I don't agree with some of the safety rotations and having Justin Evans out there, because I don't think he's good enough. But I mean, getting the reps in, of course, on the 2nd and 3rd team. But starter reps, I don't believe he qualified for that. Kayvon Wallace, you could say he made a case, because I mean, I love that he's coming up with a fresh set of eyes and just giving due diligence to cycling through everybody and seeing how they work and how assessing their actual skill talent level instead of going off of misconceptions or preconceptions. Just letting the guys play and letting them cream rise to the top and letting them stratify themselves. Christian Ellis, I like what he's showing. Yeah, he did do a little bit over aggressive and like missing a tackle or two that I saw. But him starting next to Dean, I wouldn't be opposed to it, because like I said, he brings a decent amount of size as well. I think he's like 6'3", 231. So compare with Dean, but he has the size advantage. Zach Cunningham, him able to knock balls. He's been able to assist Reed Blankenship in practice, in back-to-back joint practices, and knocking a ball, and then getting deflection, and then Reed Blankenship being able to clean up, come in after him, and scoop it up and get INT. He's 6'4", so has a great wingspan. Brings he's a very solid run stuffer. Great at that, playing the run game. So I wouldn't be opposed to one of those guys, him or Miles Jack, starting over Christian Ellis. But I like our linebacker depth as is. And Nicholas Morrow, I just don't see him making this rock. He could be a cap casualty. I don't see him being anything more than a depth player, because he just hasn't popped, man. He looks like slow to react, and just position and technique just don't look like they're top notch. So yeah. Nakobe Dean actually did very well. He shot the gap on a goal line play, and he was able to graze the running back. I was like, what is he doing? But his shoulder made contact, forced a fumble. Kayvon Wallace was able to jump on the ball. It was just great play by him. He was one of the starters that was in, and we need to see something from him. And finally, he flashed. Okay, here it is, guys. You've been asking for it. Yeah, it came against the Browns' second team, and they had no starters out there playing. But that being said, a very solid play from Nakobe, and he's able to quiet the guys a little bit with that. And good that he looks healthy. He looks like he's going 100% out there. So, all right, Morrow Jones definitely had some nice plays as well. He rushes a 5 technique, also playing inside, but he looked good, man. He was able to bring some pressure, get some hits, and was very effective out there. Playing the run game, he makes some mistakes, some rookie mistakes, but he's a rookie, so not blaming the guy. But he's very unheralded. But I like what he brings to the table, and he might be able to push into the deep core of D tackles as far as playing time goes. Just even this year. All right, man. So many guys got hurt. We had 5 guys get hurt, man. Tyree Cleveland, neck injury. Went up for a catch, didn't make it. Was writhing in pain on the ground. Brought the stretcher, but he was able. His extremities are okay, good to go. Moro Ojomo also suffered an injury, similarly a neck injury, but he was able to also give a thumbs up, and he's good. He's good as far as long term. But these guys, I don't know if they, week one availability. We're not counting on any of those guys, but these three guys here, Nolan Smith, Olamide Zaccheaus, and Zach McPherson, all went down as well. Nolan Smith had a shoulder injury. On a pass rush, he got great pressure, but he came up lame on the shoulder, and then he stayed in the game. I'm like, just get out. This is a preseason game. You don't need to prove yourself. You're not proving anything. You're a first round pick. We're not going to bench you, or your playing time is not in jeopardy. So get out. I wish he had gotten out. He might have re-aggravated or made it worse. So I look, he was smiling on the sideline, said look to be okay. So I hope that is the case, but just never know. So dumb rookie mentality, young man mentality. He's invincible. Get out while you can, because we need you for the long term, son. So but he brought some pressure. Was able to set the edge and played the run tough as well. But man, he was just chasing down the quarterback, running back, ball carrier, and he blew plays up. So it was great seeing that, a preview of what is to come, hopefully. Olamide Zaccheaus, like we were saying earlier with Britton Covey, he was covering punts as well. And we also saw Justin Evans cover one. He looked actually good on the return. I don't know if he makes the roster, but we have that in our in the back of our bag of tricks if we need him in case of emergency. But Olamide Zaccheaus, he's our fourth receiver. Obviously, he's gonna get some snaps. He looked good on the reception. He looks so explosive, getting the ball. He's a former running back. It really shows. He was weaving through traffic, got upfield, and got extra yardage with his shakeability and bakeability. Easy bakes. Those things are delicious. But yeah, man, he returned a punt and looked nice. He made a move and was able to get a nice 6 or 7, 8 yards. But he also went out the game with a shoulder injury. So keep our eyes on that. Hopefully, he can be back for week 1. But I don't think these injuries are too serious. But we will see. Zach McPherson also, he was getting toasted early, but he stayed with it, stuck with it. I like that Josh Jobe didn't even really try his side. Maybe that was comfortability with the quarterback with that receiver. But that being said, I put he's ahead of McPherson on the depth chart, and McPherson was playing outside instead of playing interior like he has been. So I might lead some credence to the playing time, where he's been most on the interior, so he hasn't had the time to practice his technique on the outside. That being said, you're out there, no excuses. He was getting roasted. He was in position on one to come in and knock the ball down, or maybe if he read it even earlier, get an interception similar to the Ricks pick where he read the ball, went in, and he knew, but it was recognition. He knew what it was and went for it. So McPherson maybe hesitated, but just bad technique, like the announcer was saying, and just get your hand in there, knock the ball out. Drop your hand up. He's gonna watch film and diagnose that and be able to hopefully learn and grow from it and see that he needs to have better technique in finishing plays. But that being said, he went out there and battled. He also returned a punt or two, and he looked solid as well. So it wasn't Ricks, it was Deion Kane, I believe, returning some kickoffs. He had a 34-yard return. It was really good. But like I said, Zach went out, ankle injury, so hopefully that's not long-term, because we need a backup to our backup, because Avonte Maddox just can't stay healthy. He's made of glass. And we need a backup plan. And Zach McPherson, he looks solid. So hopefully he can be our guy and be healthy in that position. But yeah, these 5 guys, it was just tough. Cleveland stretcher, Ojomo stretcher, Nolan, Olamide, and Zach, all went down as well. So it just, you don't want to see that in preseason. There's all the more reason why we keep these guys that matter. Sorry, but everybody guy matters in the 53, but the guys that are at the top. So you can see why coaches keep them out, and we don't want them playing in these meaningless games. Yeah, Brady Russell, 22-yard touchdown pass from Tanner McKee, man. He just has such poise, man. And okay, it was a 2-point conversion to Johnny King. He looked very good, making that in the back of the end zone, I believe. But let's see. Let's get to some other guys I might have missed. All right, Kenny Gainwell. Yeah, he had some nice carries, man. But him getting blown up by a guy, a rookie, was gonna force his way into the Brown squad because of his play, safety, and then a forced fumble later. Josh Seals just wasn't in position. He's got to get his bearings back, man. He's been in prison, no, but he's been, had that grape case and kidnapping case that he held him out of football activities. He was acquitted, so he's able to practice again. But we'll see how that goes. Avonte Maddox saying that Sidney Brown's a heat-seeking missile. He was all over the field. He came in run game support and, man, laid a big hit on somebody. And then, like, deep downfield, he was on the other side, floating between the middle and almost, I would say, near the other hash. But he flew in, diagnosed a play over the top, came in, knocked down, affected the play. He plays fast, man. I wouldn't be opposed to, wholly opposed to him starting next to Reed Blankenship, but it's only one thing that concerns me, his youth. I'd rather go with the steady hand and Terrell Edmonds, and us not having him. So, I mean, like, he's looked decent, but, he's looked like he's been cleaning up, like he's a father or older brother cleaning up for his younger siblings for making mistakes. He's got to do that. So he can't be the playmaking safety or like the steady hand that he is, because he's not out there with Darius Slay and Avonte Maddox in the slot and James Bradbury on the outside. So I'd like to see him with the starting being a part of the starting quartet and see how he plays. But I believe his experience will get us plays that Sidney Brown's youth will get us exposed in. So I'm not saying Sidney wouldn't make plays, but offenses would take advantage of his youth and use things to target him and purposely put him out of position. So I don't want to see him bench and then have to recover from that. It's not about an ego shot. It's about his development mentality. Jake Elliott, money, 8 for 9. I mean, over 50. I mean, yeah, pass was. But anyways, the preseason, I think he's missed 1. So I mean, he's getting very solid work. Teron Jackson looks very solid. Too bad I don't think he's gonna make the roster because we're just too deep. We have Janarius Robinson and Taron Jackson and Kyron Johnson and other Johnson, and I mean, so many guys just don't have the space. Could he be a good practice squad candidate? I think so, maybe. Damon Wallace, he looked solid, but I just still would keep him around as a backup. But he looks better than I thought. So I mean, I think he did make some improvements this offseason. Kentucky Street display that Nolan Smith had got pressure. I mean, he's just bringing it, man. Made the quarterback step up and right into Kentavious Street getting a sack. So that was him playing off of him. I just don't think he's shown enough to stick around. Would he be a good guy to call in an event of, emergency? You suffer some injuries on the D-line and need some depth at D-tackle? Yeah, because he also has inside-outside versatility, but I just don't think that he's going to make the initial 53. He could be a guy that we bring back. Grant Cafeteria, he looked, decent. He looked solid, making some catches. I think he's our number 3 for sure, and I think we only keep 3 tight ends. And like I said, Terrell Edmonds solid, but we just, I think he just needs to play. For me, he's one of our starting safeties, but that's just my opinion. All right, let's get to the awards and maybe get up out of here. Yeah, Marcus Mariota, 9 of 17, 85, no touchdowns and interception, quarterback rating of 42.5. Yeah, it was this. Like, seriously, like, it wasn't him. I think it was Cafeteria, but the ball was like, I think it was around here, man. That's just ridiculous. Yeah, it was Ronnie Hickman. It's terrible, man. Yeah, Tanner McKee, money. Carnage Award, yeah, all the guys going out. It was a mash unit. Sigh of relief. I mean, like, I wasn't panicking. And it was still a second team, but man, it was like a wide. This gap here, he shot it and got reps to the running back, affecting my running back was surprised. I think that's why he because he hit him at a strange place. You hit him at the bottom when he's had the carrying the ball, the hand below this one, and was able to make the ball slip out. So just excellent work. Trey Sermon, yeah, up and down, man. Don't need it. active. Yeah, not bad. I'm like, more than not bad. He's active in practice, you know, tipping balls, like I said, using that 6'4" frame. And then, in games, run stuffer, because he was had one of the best run stuffing rates. I think maybe the best 2-3 years ago. So, yeah, the punting battle doesn't look good. I'm in for a replacement over Aaron Siposs, watching other guys' rosters. And I've been watching, I'm like, looking out, just saying, all right, who's been cut? But anyways, we're going to end it there. Yeah, I'm not even going to talk about that. But yeah, it was an interesting preseason game. I learned a lot, even though at times we looked like we were stuck in the mud. Even, you know, Tanner he wasn't perfect, but he's a guy that, you know, keep your eye on, watch his development, and see how he's moving along, especially going into next year. We'll see. But anyways, I'm going to get up out of here. I mean, you're not even watching, though, but it's all good, because I love talking about the Eagles and making this content regardless. But as I always say, fly, Eagles, fly, and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Centron Anime, Centron Life, or Centron Laughs, or other social media.